everyone has this, and it usually stems from like we're like valuing something that isn't as actually important as we probably all agree is that like our subconscious is making it to be. I mean, I would also just like step back and say, okay, what do I really want? Well, I want to grow as a person, right? Like that's like regardless of where you end up in life, you want to grow as a person. So how do you grow? Well, you face this challenging test. You maybe you could even imagine yourself utterly failing it, right? And failing out, like not getting accepted. It's like, okay, well, that could be a huge growing opportunity because like you go through it and you're like, yeah, throw me more. I just handled that and it was fine. But the reality is that probably won't come about. But you're like imagining like what could I take that? Yeah, you could take that. You could probably take a lot worse. Um, and the reality is that probably won't happen. But if your real goal is growth, then regardless of whether you do well or not, then you're going to win because you're going to grow from it. And the reality, then the anxiety goes away, and ironically, you start to do better.
I see people do this all the time. In the name of stress reduction, they do a bunch of extra stressful shit. And different people are different. I'm not sure if type A and type B is really a thing, but I do see type A people who do everything they possibly can do, which I feel you. I mean, that's very lawyerly of you to do everything you can possibly do. But sometimes when you do everything you possibly can do, you just start holding onto the steering wheel too tightly and it stresses you out. I mean, I have this experience if I know I talk about golf all the time. I'm an amateur golfer. But if I have like a tournament that I give a shit about, sometimes I'll practice. And if I actually practice a lot for a tournament that I really care about, it makes me care about the tournament more. And so then when I actually show up on the first tee, man, I got like my heart racing and my hands are sweaty. And like, because I've invested more in it, then I like care more. And so the reason why we advise people to take the day off before the test is kind of to send yourself the message that you're ready and you don't need to panic. Doing a full test before your actual test seems like the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's just another practice test is just about the most important advice we can give somebody, I think.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why that is any different for the Flex. I mean, the significant differences with the Flex are you're taking it at home. It's 3 sections instead of 5. The balance of scoring has changed slightly. Games and reading comp are a little more important now. Logical reasoning is a little less important.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, no, somewhere in the last week, you need to declare victory over the test and stop studying at least a day before the test. You should take a day off. You should take the test seriously the same way you take all your practice tests seriously, but you shouldn't try to do anything different or special or extra on the official day. You got to just kind of play the game you've got. The other major difference with the LSAT-Flex is that you take it at home and it's proctored virtually instead of proctored, in person.
Yeah.
But that's more of a benefit than it is a detriment for almost everybody. And even if you're one of those people who doesn't have a computer and doesn't have a quiet place to take the test, you can apply for, and LSAC will actually loan you a computer and pay for a hotel room for you to take the test. So
yeah.
Better all around, I would say. I mean, it's just really hard to imagine the person for whom the Flex is not better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's not that hard to imagine because they do sometimes fuck up the proctoring. You're rolling the dice with their virtual proctors because their virtual proctors are not well trained, but their live proctors were not well trained either. So again, yeah, when bad shit happens, that's bad for you. But overall, the LSAT-Flex is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Just treat it as another practice test.
Yeah, well, maybe, what would you say to first-time takers? There is one, the score preview thing is a thing that's only available to first-time takers. And if M is new and doesn't know about score preview is the new service that they offer where you can pay them extra on the first time you take the test. And then they will show you your score and then let you decide whether or not you want to cancel it. But because it's only available to first-time test takers,
I
unless
don't
you
understand
have,
its value. Yeah.
right, unless you have crippling anxiety about the possibility of getting a bad score, you know, the best way to alleviate that, by the way, is to do lots of practice tests and learn a lot about the test and get better so that your practice tests are better, so that you are more confident that you're, ready for the test. I guess I can see a student with this crippling test anxiety where any benefit is going to help them. And for their first official attempt, if they have score preview, then at least they know, hey, I'm not going to have to decide in advance whether I want to cancel. They're going to show me my score, and then I'm going to decide whether I want to cancel. But canceling is generally bad. Like, a canceled score and a bad score on your record are generally the same thing. Maybe not for Canadian students, where apparently law schools average LSAT scores a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe not for Yale, because Yale's probably going to consider all of your scores. But for literally every other school, I just don't see why. What's the difference?
Yeah. I mean, I could see a
140.
case for like, let's say you get a one, I don't know, it's like a abysmal score, and you know that your practice test scores are way above that. I guess I'd rather have a cancellation, a C, than a number. People can assess a number, but still it's all subjective. So because the highest score is all that really matters. I don't know. If you have the money, go for it.